I just want to get up on the table. I want to like start dancing. And I'm afraid that I'll be pulling out all the cords, all the wires, and it would be a disaster. But nevertheless, well,
Might want to see you dance. You
maybe
dance
we'll do
like a white guy.
maybe we'll do that in a in a closed show in a non live manner. What's up, everybody? It's your boy JC. We are in week 2 for the fantasy preview show of the Patrick Pucci Fantasy Show. I am joined by a few of my closest goats. We've got Goat Dad, and we've got the Commissioner Goat, Commissioner Rhino, and we got the best ball Jonesy Goat. Jonesy, I thought I thought I told you to like relax and calm down in that video. I mean, like I see you like jumping on top of like the other goats. You're kicking them like with like your back legs. Like you're awfully excited.
It's my exercise. I gotta get my exercise in.
All I ask is that you just please just calm down just a little bit. All right, guys. Before we kick into the slate, we'll preview the games between 1 and 7:30 for tomorrow. A couple of notes. First things first. Yeah, we will get into some of the injuries that we are monitoring, that we're looking out for. Nothing that we already don't know, but again, we'll make sure that everyone is just fully aware of what's happening in terms of the injury department. At around 8:30ish, we have a very special contest to do. We're going to draw the winner of the NFL Sunday ticket from those participants, the entrants that that took place in the contest. So we're going to do a little special. It's like a dash, a 100-yard dash is what it's called, as a matter of fact. And we will get into that at around 7:30ish. We will draw one lucky winner to win a free NFL Sunday ticket. Compliments of the Patrick Pucci Fantasy Show. All right, gentlemen, how are you guys?
Good.
Doing good.
It's been a day, but ready for this, and I got my pork tenderloin on my Traeger smoking.
The Traeger.
So, got cold beer in the refrigerator waiting for me to drink, so I'm good.
Fantastic. I mean, you could have brought that beer out, with you, onto the show. I've seen some, drinking on a show before.
I want to be somewhat professional.
I get that. I love it. It is YouTube. We do check that box, right? Like this video is not made for those under the age of 18. That's just like, I guess, a disclaimer to all. I guess we're not censored, but nevertheless, we don't need to really get into that. Hello, gentlemen. Hello. Look who's here. We've got more goats. Look at this guy, DK Metcalf. That's what Odysseus wants. Look at Jazzy. Welcome in, Jazzy. How are you? There's the goat, the number one goat. Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for coming to the Patrick Pucci Fantasy Show, Week 2 Fantasy Preview Show. All right, guys. Let's see. I'm using a third screen here. As if 2 aren't enough, I'm going to use a third here. My phone. AJ Brown. It was added to the injury report. He's questionable.
Yeah.
Seems to be a hamstring. He's not very good. How about that? No. Let me take the sarcasm and put it to the side. He is very good. I just don't think he's the best wide receiver on his team. We know who that is.
Right.
Absolutely. This is in no particular order, but CMC is now on the IR as of this morning. Gentlemen, if you're a CMC owner, whether you drafted him with the first pick overall, which was not recommended by myself, which was not recommended by several, based on the fact that really we many in the industry did not believe that he was going to finish first. Therefore, why would you draft him first? But again, millions of people play this game. There's a certain percentage that did draft CMC 1.01. How concerned would you be now? Well, you're without him for the next 4 games minimum, including tomorrow. So
I'm very concerned. Because if you think about, especially with the calf injury, that's what was he had that towards the end of the season and in the playoffs. So that was lingering all off season, and then he re-aggravated in training camp. Add the Achilles tendonitis, and if you've ever had that, that's painful. It's painful.
It's I'm sure it's painful, without question. Now, the playoffs, Rhino, was that the calf or was that the thigh?
It was a calf, I believe.
In any event, look, this isn't his first rodeo of injuries either, Dad, right? I mean, like, okay, so like we know he's got previous history of injury. Now, he aggravated or he got injured in the preseason. He tried to make the week 1 start. He said that he would have been ready to go. He would play. This guy's a freaking beast. He's a warrior. He's a warrior. Warrior. If you can see that. He's a warrior.
Nice tattoo.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's nice.
We could get into why I have warrior on here with another person. However, CMC, right? Like if he was borderline ready to go, and then all of a sudden now he went to the IR. There's got to be something more. There's got to be something worse than what we're led on to believe, or he made it worse within a very short time frame between last game or prior to the Monday night game through into this week. So one of the two things happened. How concerned would I be? Well, yeah, I mean, I am concerned. I'm concerned because like I don't necessarily think it's so much the calf that they're so concerned with. I think they're more concerned with his heel than anything else, and that rupturing.
Yep, that's what I read from the one fantasy doctor that I follow. I was in our chat room.
I think that's the big concern. I mean, if that thing goes, you've got a problem. You're out for the year. So maybe look. Also, if you were a CMC owner in the first round, hopefully you drafted Jordan Mason. If you're a CMC owner in the first round and you didn't draft Jordan Mason, I hope you drafted really good other players. So again, it's not like the season's not over. I don't want to suggest that. I wouldn't consider it over if it was my team.
No.
Just you gotta hope that you drafted well. If you drafted a really good RB2 that now has to make up for those points, or if you've got someone that could potentially be a league winner that you drafted somewhere in the 7th round that could now step up. It's not the good news is it's not. This is only week 2. That's the good news.
Yeah, well, and I think too, like it's so important, and this is like fantasy football 101, but it's like when it comes to CMC and those top running backs, right? Because you've heard of handcuffing. Like you don't handcuff everybody, right? Like I didn't draft Tony Pollard and then handcuff him this year, right? But CMC, like you should have come away with Jordan Mason from your draft. Breece Hall, you should have grabbed number 2. Bijan, you should have been all over Tyler Algier or whatever, right? Like those top guys that you're using first round capital on, like you can't not handcuff. And this is just, showing that. But what makes me nervous is like the path that Hollywood Brown just went on, where it was like, they put him on IR. And did I see Schefter
for the year?
Done for the season,
Or regular season is what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like panic level for CMC, like that's where I'm at right now.
This is what I don't know. This year just feels different with injuries. Coaches are being very I don't want to say everyone's lying, but sure damn seems like it. Like, I mean, we got McCaffrey, and they're like, oh, yeah, he's feeling better. Goes on IR. We got Walker. He's doubtful. He's probably not going to play. Is he going to be on IR too? You know, like you can't tell. And then all of a sudden, Marquise Brown. Yeah, I mean, it's just all these players, even with the Packers, Jordan Love, everyone knows he's not playing this week, but they didn't change him to doubtful until today. I mean,
that's true.
And all week, you know, LaFleur's like, well, we're going to keep the door open.
Well,
you know, like, I mean, I know it's gamesmanship and they're trying to prevent the other teams from being the game plan, but still, it's like, I don't know. I don't trust anything I hear this year.
Right. And I mean, more with the injury report, we all know it's also procedural. So it's like, you know, they don't have to put it specific ruled out until perhaps a specific time. So we all know, to your Packers and Jordan Love's point, we all know that he's not playing tomorrow. They don't have to rule him out until probably 11:30 tomorrow. That's all that is. But there are, I mean, look, I know what we're probably going to be told, like in like, I guess maybe at the end of the year, or maybe they'll give us a report mid-season, injuries are down. But the optics don't look good. Absolutely not. They don't. It looks like players are getting hurt a little bit more often, or maybe it's some of the marquee players are banged up and getting hurt. You know, it appears this way to the eye. We'll have to see what the numbers and the data suggest. Speaking of Love, we might as well just he's on the report. He's listed as doubtful. Yeah. Absolutely. That's
I just want to say one thing about injuries right now, and this kind of goes to Dad's comment about handcuffing. Right now, if you have like a James Conner and you don't have Benson, go get Benson. Go get your handcuffs if you don't have them before it happens. It's week. We're not even into week 2 minus a game yet. And look at how many injuries we have. It's going to keep happening. So don't be dumb and just sit there and do nothing. Get them while you can.
If they're available.
And you don't need to get every handcuff. And if you have questions, come into the chat, ask us, DM us, whatever. You know, if you have Chuba Hubbard, you don't need to go prioritize Miles Sanders, But there are guys out there that you should.
Yeah, Blake Corum for Carmen Williams.
Yes. If you have Kyrie, you should be going to get Corum. If you have, like I said, if you have Connor, you should be going to get Benson. If you have, I'm trying to think of some other ones, but
are we reading that right?
I'm reading it. Yeah, Molly's she's being aggressive. Molly's offering Jerome Ford for CMC, and it might get accepted. I mean, look, if Molly's depth at running back is really good, and Jerome Ford was probably drafted again, one of those later round or mid round, I should say, running backs, and you can afford to take on CMC and put him on the IR.
Yeah.
Hoping that he returns week 5 and it's the return of CMC. At the same time, interesting enough, this could very well be at the same time Chubb returns, which might render Jerome Ford kind of like, I don't want to say, I hate to say useless, not useless. I think Jerome Ford is going to carve out a role whether Nick Chubb returns full health or not, but that's
now aren't the Browns both
transaction right there?
Aren't the Browns both starting left? Jeez, aren't the Browns both tackles the right and left out this game? Hurt?
Are they?
They were hurt last week. I don't know. I don't know about this week.
I read that right.
We should have the tackles, considering they're protecting the quarterback and they're protecting the running back, so they're blocking for the running. I got Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell's here.
Do not trade. No, because you just put a roster up. Do not trade Ford.
Yeah.
If those are your running backs, if Spears and Eckler are your top 2 running backs, you do not trade Ford.
Yeah.
Ford should be starting
4 weeks.
Ford should be starting for you every week with these running backs.
RB. Looks like Molly seems to have been playing for a while. So she went with the 0 RB approach. Jerome Ford was probably the first back, or Tyjae Spears was maybe the first back. Austin Eckler didn't have too bad production last week, right? If I'm not mistaken. Ray Davis. Well, we saw what James Cook did the other night. There was no Ray Davis. Ray Davis would be one of those examples of a good handcuff right now. If you have James
they had
Cook.
Ty Johnson going in as the third down back.
True. Yeah, we know. Look, and the fourth running back, who's more so than not, or more so than we would like him to be, the first running back is Josh Allen.
Yeah.
All right, Joe. We're spending a lot of time on the injuries. There's just one other that I did want to talk about. It's not so much the actual player that's injured, which we all know, Tua, who sustained his third documented concussion in the last 2-3 seasons. But the player that's most affected by Tua is Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle goes from like that high-end wide receiver 2 to now, low-end wide receiver 3. He, like Skylar Thompson or whoever the hell they bring in, there's not going to be good passing volume for both wide receivers. Tyreek Hill is going to take a hit on this, and so Devon A-Chain is probably the only one at this time that might still be enough unchanged, I should say.
Yeah.
So Jalen Waddle, and by the way, Tua's third documented concussion. I'm pretty sure it's his fourth concussion, only the third documented. You hear, and of course, I'm not a doctor. Unfortunately, I am familiar with neuroscience, with my own condition. That's why I'm a warrior. Right? That posturing that they talk about, that fencing posture, his muscles are completely spasming, and locking on him because of the signals that just got smacked upstairs or down his spine. That's what that is. So he'll probably go on IR, or he's going to take as long as you need. Well, damn, he may be fine without any symptoms, I should say. He may be symptom free in like a week, 10 days, and he's going to get cleared. Like, you have no symptoms.
But will the doctors clear him? And then with the NFL Players Association comes in, or can they come in and say,
if the doctors clear him, he's cleared. I mean, as far as I know, the team could protect him from himself and just IR him, make sure he's out for 4 weeks, but which is probably something I think they should do. But just give him extra time if he's coming back. I'm assuming he's coming back until I hear otherwise. He's at a much greater risk. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying he's like, it's beyond like, he doesn't know how to take a hit. Plenty of guys are getting hit. They don't get affected. They like his body doesn't take the same beating as Tua's body. It's a screwed up situation. It really is. I wish him. Who doesn't wish him the best? It'd be best if he didn't put himself in harm's way. But I don't know whether like the NFLPA or anything like that. Who knows? In any event, the Solo Goats, he's in the house, and I think that this would be the best place to start in terms of what we want to preview for this week, and that is the Ravens. What do we expect to see out of the Baltimore Ravens this week? Do we expect to see a 50-50 split with Derek the King Henry and Justice League Hill? How about the tight ends?
I think it's the same.
How about the tight ends? Are we in a tight end by committee?
I think they'll both be out there.
Who wants to go though? You think they'll both be out there? That doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help anybody. If you're a Mark Andrews owner, obviously you're going to start him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to. I think Andrews and likely both could be like top 12 tight ends. You know what I'm saying? Like if the Ravens can use them both, right? Like last week, they shut Andrews down, right? and Likely was going crazy. Well, now, like, that's not going to happen again the same way with Likely getting wide open on every play. So then why could they not both, for fantasy purposes, especially at a position like tight end, like why can't they both be top 12 tight ends? Is that wishful thinking?
Week in, week out, probably wishful thinking for that to be on a weekly basis. It's not out of the question if the Ravens are going to use Likely in a role that would be like a wide receiver, put him in a slot, put him out wide. I mean, I don't know if he runs those types of routes. I don't believe so. I believe he runs more at a traditional inline or maybe split out a little bit. I mean, it's not wishful. I think we'll see it. I do. I think we will see them both out there at the same time. I think they're also going to rotate, and that's. I bet you. There. I mean, I know a ton of people went to go pick up Isaiah Likely based on last Thursday night's performance. Now they're going to start Isaiah Likely, and this could be the Mark Andrews game. Or Mark Andrews will out-snap him, out-produce him, he'll run more routes. All the stats will suggest possibly Mark Andrews. And then those that went to go pick up Likely, those that went to go start Isaiah Likely over a borderline tight end start. Yeah, that's not a really good advantageous spot to be in. How about the running backs for Baltimore?
Okay, I think Likely is the de facto wide receiver too. And one thing you got to think about in this game, and I'm a diehard Raiders fan, but there's a really good chance that all the stars get pulled by the fourth quarter. Very good chance.
You think it's going to be that bad?
I think Henry runs for 200 yards tomorrow.
No faith.
Yeah.
No faith.
Hey, Henry's a step above J.K. Dobbins.
No faith in the Raiders' traveling defense.
I'm a realist, dude. I keep it real and need to keep it real. I think Likely is the de facto number 2 wide receiver, so that they could both be out there. And Andrews will do the short intermediate routes, and Likely go a little bit further.
I got more faith in Antonio Pierce. How about that? I got more faith that he's going to make sure that his team is A, prepared, obviously, B, that they're going to play their asses off. Yeah. Like, who the hell wants to start out 0-2? What's the line in this? Wait, I got the line. I got the line from yesterday. What's the line in this game?
It's the quarterbacking. If they're going 3 and out, maybe getting a little bit of drives here and there, the defense keeps on going in. They're going to get run down, just like last week, because they held the running game pretty good last week until the second half, and then they were worn out because they couldn't sustain a drive. Sustain a drive.
That's a high spread, 8.5. That's a touchdown and a 2-point conversion with a half a point, with a total of 41.5. Everybody listening, if you're going to bet, if you're going to gamble, please do that responsibly. Only bet what you can afford to lose. Play fantasy football. It's a lot safer. It's like, you put your money up into a pot prize at the end of the season when you win, when you're a champion, like Jonesy, like Husot, like Solo Goat. When you're a champion, you receive a nice prize check. Anyway, let's move on from this game. I did want to talk about the running backs, but I need to see Zamir. I do not want to see Alexander Madison. And go ahead, Jonesy.
Personally, I mean, I don't. You never can make a decision until like 3 weeks, and you don't know what's real and what's not. Yeah. But just looking at the first game, Zamir had 12 carries. I think it was 12, 13.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Okay, that's not horrible, but you take 12, 13 carries, times that out by 17 weeks. He's over 200 carries. to me, that's what I was expecting from him when I drafted him. It's just to be a 200 carry plus, 200, 225 carries in the year, nice volume. And that's what they did. And game script, they fell behind. They needed to pass. And that's where Madison's going to come in. I mean, the only way I don't think Madison's taking over the backfield is he going to see the field? Yes. But I think game script is going to decide everything. I mean, and
game script will be the same the whole season, won't it?
That's the worry. But I mean, the Raiders, they don't have a horrible defense. I mean,
the defense is good, but just the offense.
And I think, yeah, I mean, are they the best team in the world? No, but let's give it a few weeks. And I think, I mean, you got to figure Brock Bowers too. I mean, they were moving him around like crazy. That's going to be an exciting thing to watch too. Yeah. If that continues, I mean,
hey, I'm all for giving it a few weeks. Like, I definitely want to allow for a sample size. Yeah, no, 1 week is not enough for sure. It's just, again, this would be me, overreacting to a player that I have bias over. That's all. That's where overreaction comes into play. I don't like to overreact. However, when you see Alexander Madison on the field more than you'd like, hopefully that changes. And right, it's only an overreaction of week 1. Let's move on, gentlemen. We'll go through one more game, and then let's run that race. Let's run the race after we get into after this doozy here. The Chargers, Jim Harbaugh's Chargers, are in Carolina. Gus Bus. I mean, is he worth a start? Or just Jay again, running back by committee, or is JK now like the feature back?
No, I think we'll see the same thing we did last week.
Would you start Deontay Johnson in Carolina, Dad? Are you a Deontay Johnson guy?
Yeah, I think that's fine. But temper expectations, right? Like I hope he's not my wide receiver 1 or 2, right? Like wide receiver 3, flex. I'm fine with that, but
what's the vibe down there in terms of the Panthers' week 1 performance? Is Carolina overreacting? They're not. They're not. Again, this could have very well have changed because I haven't been down there in a while. The Panthers weren't really like their bread and butter as far as I could tell. It's like, right. I mean, that's just me. I don't know. Like you were more of a Redskin fan or a Commander fan in Central North Carolina than you were a Panther fans. But what's the overall?
And then college, of course,
Well, that completely different story and auto racing. But what's the overall vibe for the Panthers after that week 1 performance?
Not good. Not good.
I think it might be an anomaly. I'll give them. See how them look. I don't want to overreact like that. That there's going to be trash like that. They're already saying Bryce Young is one of the worst number 1 picks overall ever. I just don't see it yet. Let them get going and see what happens. I always give the first couple of games of the season, like for everybody to fill each other out and stuff, and see how it goes. And then if it's still trash, then I'll start worrying.
Well, look, they brought in this young, really qualified, with a really, really good resume, and Dave Canales, who's done some great things with the quarterback. Yeah, we ought to give it time. However, I mean, like, you've got a handful of skill position players that you want to be able to rely on. Again, that you've drafted someone like a Deontay Johnson, or what do you do now with a Chuba Hubbard that you were going to rely on for at least 4 games, and then to see Miles Sanders, it throws a wrench into things. It really does. It throws a whole wrench into it. How about the let's go to the Saints versus the Cowboys. Now, this is a good game. Chris Olave had a 10% target share in week 1. Now he's playing the Cowboys. How confident are you guys in with starting Chris Olave? Are you going to start Zeke in this ball game?
I'm starting Olave.
Kind of have to, right?
Yeah. Just for the sole reason that they might be playing from behind. So he'll be getting target share. He'll be getting targets, and
Right.
we'll really see how good they are, how good the Saints offense is.
Or is Rashid Shaheed a thing this season? Rashid is also in his third season, isn't he? Rashid Shaheed's in his third season. So is Chris Olave. Now, what do we say about wide receivers in their third year?
Third year's typically when they break out.
It typically is, correct. Yeah. So, I mean, like, Rashid Shaheed, he's got talent, but I kind of feel like Chris Olave is more the complete wide receiver, right?
Yeah, because I think isn't Rashid more the downfield threat?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was putting it a lot nicer than I was about to. I was going to say like a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
He runs that one route. He runs that it's not even I think some call it a 9 route or it's a go route. It's just a off, deep down catch. All right. Speaking of runs and routes and races, guys, we are live basically every day of the week. Don P, Patrick Pucci, he gives me off maybe one day a week. Other than that, though, we're live on X. We are live here on YouTube. Tuesdays is the Waiver Wire show. On Fridays, we have NFL rumors to go over news and notes on Spaces. We also have the DFS show right here on YouTube. Saturday is today. It's the preview show. And Sunday will be our recap. We're looking to add shows also. So please like us, subscribe to us. Appreciate you. Now, on to other business. Let's do this. Let's play this game. Let me figure out how to play this game.
The duck race?
It's not a duck race, actually.
Oh, it's not?
Nope. It's a similar situation going on here. How's the screen look?
Looks good.
Perfect.
It looks perfect. All right, guys. These are the entrants to those that were graciously subscribing to the YouTube channel from the announcements on our Spaces this previous week. There's 14 individuals. One of them will win an NFL Sunday ticket, free. Compliments of the Patrick Pucci Fantasy Show. I do have one more subscription that I can pass out, and we'll run that again next week. So let's do this one first. Press this shuffle button, blah, blah, blah. Shuffle, no. Do we need to do it? No, this isn't like a draft order. I don't need to shuffle. Higher luck value, blah, blah, blah. Unlock what? No. You see how experienced I am with this, right? Just as experienced I am live streaming YouTube shows. Seconds.
You're doing good.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
I appreciate that. Seconds per rush. Minute, 2 minute, what? Max 7? I don't know about any of this. Speed. How about fast? Who wants to be normal here? We want to be fast and furious. Fast like Husot. Husot's fast. Let's go. Are we ready? Start. Let's go. It's going to be fast.
This is pretty cool. I haven't seen this one before.
Aha! There they go.
We were doing these for Scott Fishman.
Yeah, that's where I got it from.
Exactly. Who's going to lead?
Duck.
Who we got?
Grundy down on the bottom. Oh, Pat's taking off.
Pat. Oh,
Here comes Tim.
Come on, Husot. What are you doing?
This is great.
Come on, Huso, get in there.
It's close. It's close.
Oh,
Grundy.
is it Grundy?
Yeah.
Grundy takes first.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Tom third.
Congratulations,
Hey,
Grundy.
C, what do you think about doing for second and third Patrick Pucci Fantasy Show t-shirts?
How many t-shirts? How many t-shirts do we have?
We have.
Can someone take a swing?
We could do 2 on that and get a count tonight.
I'm going to leave that up to you. As long as we have enough where we could run other giveaways, then I'm completely fine with it. Totally fine.
Just have to DM me the gray or black and large or extra large and their addresses.
Grundy J, Pat D, Tom, Tim, Huso, T-Bert, Carlos, Brian, Minnesota Viking, net score, Colton, and James Odysseus, 12th. He would have given it away anyway. Jacob C, Anthony Buffalo. We still appreciate you very much for subscribing, and please stick around with us. There'll be, as Commissioner Rhino was alluding to, the contests throughout the year. We'll look. We want to talk football. We want to talk fantasy. We also want to have fun doing it. All right, get out of here. Stop sharing. Right? I mean, we want to do some fun stuff. We'll figure out ways to incorporate fun stuff into the podcasts. We would do. I mean, last season. At the end of the year, fantasy was over. The playoffs were approaching. We did the fantasy playoffs. I mean, we just want to. I mean, yes, it was fantasy again, but it was for a prize. Pretty sure it was for a prize. Yeah, it was for a prize. Anyway, let's get back to the nuts and bolts of this operation. The Jets are in Tennessee. I expect the Jets to win the ball game. I do, and I also. You want to know what else I expect, Jonesy?
What?
I don't expect to see Alan Lazard until week 10. He'll be on the field. I'm confident he'll be on the field and he'll get a catch here and there. I don't expect.
Let me say this about Lazard. I'm Packers.
Yeah.
Lazard is not. He's not going to become Garrett Wilson, or he's not going to be the guy, but. He is Aaron Rodgers' guy. Yeah. Rodgers trusts him. He will go to him. Is he fantasy relevant? It's going to be up and down. You won't be able to rely on it every week, but he will go to him, especially if Mike Williams is kind of slow here to get back. Once Williams is back, I mean Williams has a lot more talent than Lazard, so. That's when I could.
A boom or bust kind of play, Jonesy?
A what?
A boom or bust kind of play?
More bust.
I would consider him a mid-level or bust play.
Okay.
You're not going to get, because what do you have? 2 touchdowns and I forget how many catches and stuff. Week 1, you're not going to get that from him every week.
Look, you're 100% correct. It is Rodgers' guy. He did bring him over for a reason. He brought him over to
they paid him.
Get us those tough third downs that I need.
Yep.
Right? I mean, I think this came from Aaron, Dad. The only he gave Lazard that touchdown pass was because it was one of those famous offsides, and it happened to have been Lazard that put his hand up. So, Lazard, obviously that goes into the connection with it that he has with Rodgers. I promise you that we're going to see a ton of that with Garrett. Promise you that. Yeah. And we already see that Rodgers is looking for Garrett Wilson. He already trusts Garrett Wilson. And
Breece Hall too. But Breece Hall 6 targets, something like that.
Breece Hall is going to be a beast, and the offense really runs through Breece Hall. On the other side of the ball, D-Hop returns. That's someone that we didn't get into in terms of the injury. D-Hop, are you starting D-Hop? Anybody starting D-Hop?
Who's Gardner going to be on?
They would, if I had to take a bet, I would say Sauce would take Calvin Ridley.
And will Levis have enough time to make passes?
Yes, that part. Strangely enough, yeah, because I don't think the Jets
is the Jets defensive line
they don't have
worse than what we thought it was, or is San Francisco's that much better? That's the question that will get answered this week.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah. They still don't have Hassan Reddick brought in, and we didn't see anything from Will McDonald. So they have no pass rush right now. No pass rush. In any event, unless you want to count Quentin Williams, like 320-pound defensive tackle. Okay, Pollard's the start. Is Tajay on the bench, Dad? I think Tajay's on the bench.
I mean, I think you could probably flex Tajay in in a league with 12 teams, and but yeah, I mean, I'm not like jumping for joy with that play either. It doesn't feel like a great Tajay game. I think Pollard can be in running back 2 and hopefully do okay for you. But I'm fine with flexing Tajay, but I'm not not expecting anything too crazy.
I mean, they did say that it was going to be like A, they were going to be interchangeable backs, and B, there was going to be like a 1A and a 1B, or what I mean? Like, so like, who's to say that they don't try to work Tajay Spears into the mix just to like get him onto the field, just because they want to stick to their preseason strategy, their preseason usage. But it didn't look that way last week. It looked like it was the Tony Pollard show. Why don't we get to some of the questions from the Fantasy Dad's epic post from earlier today? No particular order, and we are going to be scattered around the league. I think most of these games are the early slate, or it could be all the way. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I'll read the question. Dad, you could go last. We'll go to Rhino Jonesy and then opposite order from there.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Jameson Williams, who does have an ankle issue, but he's most likely playing. George Pickens.
I'm starting Pickens. I tend not to start people, especially ankle injury, and how easy you can tweak it. So I go the safer pick, and plus Pickens is the bell cow receiver for compared to Williams had a good share last week, but this might be Amon Brown's week.
Yeah,
I'd say Pickens.
I'm going Pickens too. I mean, look at last week. Amon-Ra, he will get the football.
Yeah.
It'll happen. Laporte is not going anywhere. That run game is not going anywhere. Jameson Williams is going to be up and down, up and down, up and down. So Pickens all the way.
You want to know who's going to be up and down with George Pickens this week? Patrick Surtain.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf last week. Not a very good week. Patrick Surtain this week. I would personally have a hard time sitting George Pickens here.
Yeah.
I would. Even in a tough matchup, because I do think as good of a game as we saw from Jameson Williams. I mean, he's not the alpha on this team. There are 2 alphas, and running backs are going to be ahead of Jameson Williams. So I'm going to go with the show's consensus here. How about Drake London, Najee Harris, Scary Terry, or Brian Thomas? So it's pick one: Drake London, Najee Harris, Terry McLaurin, or Brian Thomas. I'd love to know who asked this question, by the way, but we'll say that for another time.
So out of the Brian Thomas, Najee,
you have to start.
This has to be a flex spot then, I would assume, right?
It has to be, sure.
Yeah,
Because if not, if Najee's in there,
Who's Jacksonville playing? I forget.
Jacksonville's playing. We should probably have this information on hand.
Yeah, my bad.
It's all of our bad. It's okay.
Browns.
Okay. I'd play Brian Thomas. I like Brian. I think Brian Thomas is the wide receiver 1 for Jacksonville. I'm just not sure about
Najee. Scary Terry playing the Giants. Drake London and the Falcons are playing the Eagles. That's the Monday night game, right?
Yeah.
Brian
I'd go Brian Thomas.
What about Najee versus the Broncos? Okay, if this is,
I like that matchup, but
if this was, it would have to be Drake London or Najee Harris for me, and I would probably go Drake London to bounce back here. I'd probably go.
That's what I said.
Especially in PPR. If this is not PPR, it's going to make the decision a little bit more difficult. But I still may go Drake London over Najee. I would bench Terry, and I wouldn't play the rookie. I'm not comfortable playing the rookie, despite his week 1 performance.
let me if you want guaranteed production, you're going Najee. If you want
Arthur Smith, what's guaranteed here?
Yeah.
the Steelers running the football,
Yeah, but Justin Fields,
they're good.
he'll be running
Justin
it.
Fields is going to run too, but you know Najee is going to. What did he have for carries last week? He had 20 carries.
Yeah, I mean there are some that believe that he did get the majority of the bulk because they're trying to work Jalen Warren back in. But then there's the other school of thought that think like, well, not since Najee did do that type of workload and did amass for 20 carries and 70 yards, that he's gonna get the call again to at least try to do better, if not match it.
Yeah. Well, so that's what if you want the floor, you're going Najee, in my opinion. If you want the ceiling, I'm going Scary Terry.
Well, he is playing the Giants.
Yeah, exactly. No one wants to do it. Trust me. I have a lot of Terry McLaurin. Doesn't feel good after seeing last week doing that. But he's playing the Giants. And this shouldn't affect anything, but it's his birthday. He's going to want to have a touchdown on his birthday.
Oh, hey, I'm here for that.
So,
I mean, like,
I don't know. I just, Atlanta with London. I love London, coming into this year,
was it?
but I don't know. It just that game doesn't excite me for London, but I mean, he's okay too. I mean, I don't know.
Well, truth be told, I do have another Drake London. Is this the same question? Maybe it's the same person asking another question, Dad. I got a Drake London, Scary Terry, Jaden Reed, or Brandon Ayuk.
And that's a pick 2.
Yeah, definitely. That makes it easier. Jaden Reed is probably the only Green Bay wide receiver that I would be confident in starting, but it's not a very good start either. I mean, he would be my wide receiver 3. I'd be comfortable with that just because of that rushing upside that he does bring to the table, and kind of like Matt LaFleur will definitely design stuff for Malik Willis to get Jaden Reed the ball, but it's still not a very good play. It's just not. I would go again. I'm going back to Drake London especially if this is. Yeah, I'm going back to Drake London. I'm starting Brandon Ayuk, looking to have a bounce back week 2 along with Drake London, and yeah, I guess I'd I'd be good to sit Jaden Reed in this situation, and Scary Terry, definitely.
Look at me and Sieg agreeing twice in a row.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
I'm going to be the odd man out again, I feel.
About.
You said, would you start Jaden Reed?
So, okay. So I'm starting in that situation. I'm starting London, guaranteed. He's automatically in. Because there's other options that are okay, I'm sitting Jaden Reed. I do think the Packers are going to manufacture plays for him. I think if he's the one Packer you have to play other wide receivers, that's the one I'd want to if you have to choose. But I don't trust Reed over McLaurin or Ayuk. So the question to me comes to Ayuk or McLaurin. And honestly, with Ayuk, if it was a different beginning to the year for him, I would probably pick Ayuk. But he played horrible last week. He is not in shape to play football yet.
Well, I mean,
he's not. So I think it's going to take Ayuk another week, maybe 2, to get back into that groove. So me personally, I'm playing McLaurin against the Giants.
I'm with Jonesy. And I think didn't Reed show up on the injury report this week too?
Yeah, Reed, he's got, I forget what it was, but that's another thing.
And Ayuk was on the pitch count last week, so I'm sure they'll add a little bit more to him this week. So
increase.
I'd go with McLaurin. I'd go Scary Terry.
I'm going to bank that anatomical adaptation has kicked in.
Disco reference
has kicked in for BA Brandon Ayuk and the Niners. There's no CMC, but that really does, I don't know. They may look to give the ball to Jordan Mason and that CMC will as well. But nevertheless, I think Brandon Ayuk returns to his Brandon Ayuk-ness. That's what I think. I'm not. Did you let me ask you guys a question? Did anybody sit Brandon Ayuk last week?
I don't have him. So.
The answer is no. The answer is no. There's no reason to sit him this week just because of the performance last week. Why don't we get to the big fella's question though? It's Zeus or Dowdle or Curious George or Ty. Is that Ty Chandler? That's got to be Ty Chandler. In the PPR setting, we know our guy Zeus isn't really gonna work in the PPR setting. Rico Dowdle, George Pickens, Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler is not gonna work in the PPR setting either.
It comes down to Pickens or Zamir for me.
Yeah, and again, Curious George has that tough matchup versus Patrick Surtain, but I would still go with the wide receiver here in a PPR.
Yeah, same here. I'll go with Pickens too.
In a PPR setting.
Wasn't Zeke getting most of the passes last week, from what I remember seeing?
Yeah. Whatever that was, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I'd go Pickens myself too.
Hey, and Sieg, we got a question here that got lost in the sauce, but I don't want to. It's a good one. I think we should talk about from Bronson Howe or something like that.
I got it.
Am I holding Jordan Mason or trading him to CMC owner? He's only really got Kamara and Olave and CMC. I want to speak to that because now is the time, and you're going to get a haul back way better than if you would have, tried to make this trade like last week when he was just out one game. Now that CMC is on IR, this is a perfect opportunity to go get something really good for Jordan Mason.
And you're also selling it. Hopefully the person that you're trading with isn't listening to us. You're also selling it on the notion, hey, man, there's no guarantee that freaking Christian McCaffrey's coming back so fast after 4 weeks.
There isn't.
You can even sell that. And
what's this other one with other running back though too?
On the Niners?
No, for Bronson. He's holding Jordan Mason, but who's his other running backs though too?
That's the real question is what does his team look like? It's not if he's got 2-3 other startable running backs, trade them away.
The way it's already stated, I am holding. So does that mean he's got him in his back pocket, holding him on the bench, or I'm holding on to this freaking chip right here? Yeah,
And
no,
I maybe see how it looks one more week for Jordan Mason too. Was last week just an anomaly? I mean, if he does it 2 weeks in a row, then sure, I would still.
See, I'm selling though. I'm selling before week 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
Get something really good before he, goes and has a bad week.
I mean, if you can
everybody's got tape on him now.
If you need a wide receiver and you can get Olave back, I'd do that. I mean,
in a heartbeat.
I would even trade him for Kamara, honestly, because I know that I'm going to get a full season out of him.
So, like, Rhino, you bring up a good point. It's like, okay, so, like, is Mason going to have a repeat performance like he did week 1? So even if he comes down about 40, 50 yards, I mean, it's still going to be a good – I mean, he's the featured running back in this offense right now. He looked fantastic. And that was against at least a formidable defense. Now, like some say that the Vikings aren't that bad either, no slouches, but we will see. We'll see what Jordan Mason can come up with. But yeah, I'm also with that though. I mean, like now is the time. Jordan Mason's at an all-time high if you're the Jordan Mason owner.
Yeah, now's the time.
Now would be the time. Rather wait for him to put up a dud. Knock on wood tomorrow. Let's just say let's play devil's advocate. Let's say that the Vikings like play defense out of their minds. Jordan Mason only has 70 yards on the ground, no touchdown. We see Isaac Guerrero. This wouldn't be that far-fetched, and now you really can't sell Jordan Mason. So yeah, you better do it tomorrow.
I'm with Dad. If you're selling them, you're doing it honestly today because it has to go through, by tomorrow. If your trades even go through that fast.
See, I'm a Mason holder. So, yeah, that means Mason's on the bench. He's got Bijan, Javonte, Najee, JK, Chase Brown, and Brooks on the IR. Yeah, Mason is the asset right now.
Yeah.
He would be the asset. You can't do jack with Javonte, unfortunately, not after last week. And, I mean,
yeah, but he can start. I mean, Bijan's starting every week. I'm assuming he starts 2.
Yeah.
Bijan's starting every week. Najee and JK right now until he gets hurt is your other running back.
Good running back room, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the one in the driver's seat, and I don't normally say that week 1 going into week 2 that you're in the driver's seat, but I think that goes to Jonesy's point that he made earlier in the show. It's like, yeah, it is already. I know it's only 1 week, but it is kind of like an odd first week going into week 2. It kind of is kind of odd.
Yeah.
Pick one, Richard. We are going to pick one for you. It's Neighbors, Flowers, Zach Charbonnet in the PPR. Great news for you. Zach Charbonnet happens to be a really good pass catcher.
Yeah.
And he's got the whole backfield to himself. Yeah. However, I understand why he's asking the question, Dad, because, look, a lot of us are expecting Neighbors to eat the Commander secondary alive tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Flowers. I'm not a Flowers guy. I'm sorry. Solo Goat, I'm sorry. I'm not a Flowers guy.
See, I'm a Flowers guy.
I'm not a Flowers guy. I understand it. But when push comes to shove, I think Lamar loves throwing to his tight end, loves targeting his tight end. Now, which tight end? That's a different story nowadays. And it's a running game there. Yeah, Zay will get some. He definitely will, but I don't think there's enough volume there for Zay.
But didn't Wan'Dale Robinson get more volume than Neighbors did last week?
Under the circumstances, yeah. Under the circumstances.
So let's say the circumstances are going to be the same. At least we know Lamar can play quarterback. And he targets Flowers, and Flowers also does in rounds and stuff like that. So he's involved.
I mean, yeah, it's plausible. It's definitely a good point. I still think, though, Malik Neighbors, as high as he was drafted, as talented as he is, all the preseason reports, the training camp reports, all of that stuff I think I would roll the dice. You got to give Malik Neighbors the opportunity being in your starting position rather than watching him rack up the points on your bench. That's gonna burn. I got Malik Neighbors, not in this circumstance with these three, but yes, I have Malik Neighbors. I'm not pulling him. I also have Malik Neighbors and it's best ball, so I can't pull him. Just so we're fully transparent here, Richard. Fully transparent. Actually, wait a minute. No. So I have two neighbors. One best ball and Warriorable would be the other neighbors. Warriorable, you ready for this one? CD, Neighbors, Marvin Harrison, and Keon Coleman. My first 4 wide receivers. Last week was not a good week. It wasn't. It wasn't a good week. Yeah. When I just named, it was a terrible week. Other than Keon Coleman, I would start Malik in this situation. Oh no! Wait a minute. No. Let's go through the room. Let's go, Jonesy. Out of these three,
Neighbors.
Vinyl.
Flowers.
Well, we're not helping him because I'm about to say Charbonnet.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Here's what I think. Flowers, I don't. To me, he's at least third in the pecking order. To me, because it's the run game, Andrews to me, and then Flowers. That's the way I look at it.
He does get the ball in the backfield too. That's at least 2 or 3 times a game. I mean, he could break one off, bam, gone, bye.
Let's look at this. They didn't draft Neighbors to be a statue out there. They drafted him to be the guy.
That I agree with.
And they're going to make him the guy. And he has the talent to be the guy.
What happens if he's not getting targets? Will he check out?
No, he can't afford to check out. That's number one. Number two, what's going to wind up happening is there's going to be an absolute uproar. Everyone's going to continue to go ape shit from last week and call for Daniel Jones's head and find somebody that could get him the ball. It's as simple as look, his situation is like he's the one. He's probably got the most security on the team. They'll yank the quarterback for him.
Yeah. But you have to think about this though too. Look at the game last week with the Ravens. They passed a ton. They aren't going to do that every week. That could be the most that they pass the entire year. They are a run-first team. They only did that out of necessity. They didn't do that because that's what they're going to do. I mean, I'd be surprised if that's what they're going to do.
You know what, Josie? I'm changing my mind.
So, I mean, I look at last week, Neighbors, he had 7 targets, 5 catches for 70 yards-ish. I mean, it's not horrible for game 1. I mean, I don't know. And Charbonnet, I like it because I like that system for the running back. But I don't know. I don't trust Charbonnet right now. But he was injured, and I don't know what that's like. And I would be okay with it if I didn't have another option. But with Neighbors there, I got to say Neighbors.
Well, and here's the good news. This is obviously a flex question, right? Because we're talking about a running back and a wide receiver here. Yeah. And I would look at both of these guys. Like, I think Charbonnet is a running back 2 this week in fantasy. I think Neighbors is a wide receiver 2 this week. So the good news is my guy's got, some good choices here for a flex spot that, makes it a lot tougher of a decision. If you don't draft this good, you don't have these hard choices. So just remember that. Too,
with Charbonnet, you're gonna get the goal line runs too with Charbonnet.
I think you're going to get all of it with
you're going to get all of it.
That's what I'm checking. Well, that's not what I'm checking, but this is what I want to see with Charbonnet. But yeah, you're going to get full volume, total volume. I don't know who's the other running back there. I know they just brought up somebody off the practice squad. Where do I want to go? I want to go to. I don't think it makes a difference which league I go to. I'm going to search Charbonnet. If I can find the search. Matchup. Come on.
What are you trying to find?
I want to see the start percentage. I want to see his start percentage.
All right, I'll hop on Yahoo quick and look.
Check his start percentage. It's gotta be freaking 90%. It's gotta be. If it's not, if it's not 90%, then something's off. Something's off, and there is a very small pocket of savvy mother effers out there that
right now,
like, it's New England. They don't want anything to do with it.
See that?
Is that 67?
67% rostered, 27%, 21% start.
Oh, that's going to change. That's going to change. A lot of people didn't set their lineups yet.
Why?
That's right. Yeah, by the way, everyone should be setting their lineups. Don't even bother waiting till tomorrow at 12. I mean, like, that's just not a good thing. I mean, okay, fine. Let me take that back. If you're in one or two leagues like a normal human being, then you can wait till tomorrow. If you're not if you're not a normal human being like myself, and you're in like 25 leagues, then you'd probably want to do that tonight at some point. Gentlemen, it's 10 after 9. Do you want to go through maybe one or two more, or do you want to call it a night? I know Jonesy. I mean,
I'm good for whatever.
We had that one person, that one special person that was in the chat. She's probably waiting for you. Rhino, you've got stuff on the trailer waiting for you. And Dad, you're a dad. You're a dad.
That's right.
You're a fucking dad. Just like
I wear a lot of hats.
If I said it like that, it would sound horrible. But the way he says it, with a New York accent, yeah.
That's right. Ready to run through a wall over here.
Yeah,
let's go.
I'm getting psyched, man. I'm getting excited. Hold on. Yeah.
Maybe one or two more.
All right. Let's find
Is there any particular player in all those that we got that kept on coming up a lot?
I mean, I seen enough scary McLaurin twice. I mean, like, that should be enough for everybody.
I think we touched on him.
This is a crazy one. This must be a super flex. Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes. Or Matthew Stafford.
It's always Mahomes.
Yeah,
but it's pick two. Pick two.
That's what I'm saying. It must be a super flex. So you're picking two. Lions are playing. Who the Lions playing?
Buccaneers.
No secondary. I'd go with Goff, and I'd go.
What was the third? It was Mahomes, Goff, and who?
And Stafford.
Stafford Mahomes.
Yeah. Who the Lions playing? Or the Rams? Sorry.
Arizona.
Yeah, I'm going Mahomes.
That's a good matchup. Well, that's a good matchup. CJ Stroud, Justin Fields. Who is that? Who is that?
Hey, listen, we answer every question on Twitter, okay?
We do, but this is what I would like you to do, Dad. Next time this person comes up, this particular author, he has a one-to-one personalized invitation on to the Patrick Pucci Fantasy Show. Every Patrick Pucci Fantasy Show, not just one or two. He needs all of them. This is non-debatable. This is CJ Stroud. Here's a good rule of thumb in all seriousness. You just go take a look at anyone's ranking. Go take a look at the main industry websites that do this for a living, like we do this for a living, but we don't rank yet.
Yeah.
Go to CBS. Take a look at their rankings. Go to Fantasy Pros. Take a look at their rankings. I promise you, Justin Fields is nowhere in the vicinity of CJ Stroud. That could always be your default as to which one to go with. Just go with who's higher.
Justin Fields right now should be your guy that you're saying, should I start him against Daniel Jones or maybe an Aaron Rodgers or, guys, Justin Herbert maybe.
I drafted Caleb Williams. I drafted Jared Goff, and now I just picked up Justin Fields. Right.
Justin Fields can be a top 10 fantasy quarterback if he's the guy and he gets his feet under him and he produces and actually throws some touchdowns. But right now he's not that. So you got to hold him right now unless you have to play him.
And again, just so we disclose full transparency, on the DFS show yesterday, I did pose this question, or I did pose like the possibility, like, look, I mean, it's not like we haven't never seen Justin Fields have some of these spike week performances where he's like rushing for 100 yards, he throws 2 touchdowns, or he has 1 in the air, 1 on the ground, a total of 300 yards I mean, it'll be a good performance. However, I don't see how you could predict that playing against the Broncos in Denver when you have like CJ Stroud, who still looks amazing with all those weapons.
You're not sitting Stroud for Fields. I mean, unless you're just going for complete upside. But I can't even say that because Stroud has the upside himself. So it's.
So let me ask you this question. I'm looking at one of my super flex like dynasty teams right now. Okay. And currently, and I'll look at all this tonight, so I'm not saying this will be my final roster, okay? But currently, I've got Anthony Richardson as my QB1, and I've got Justin Fields as my QB2. On my bench are the following guys: Deshaun Watson, Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, Malik Willis. So currently, before my final look at it tonight, I've got Justin Fields in above those guys.
Stafford plays. Go back and look at the last 2 years that Rams have played Arizona. Stafford puts up numbers like at least two throwing touchdowns a game. He's owned. And anybody that has Kyron Williams, if they're not playing him against Arizona this week, you're doing yourself a disservice because I think he's averaged like 150 scrimmage yards a game against them. So I'm just, I'm a Rams fan, but I know what Stafford can do against Arizona.
Yeah. Now, are you thinking that, like, would Stafford, is he not going to be affected at all without Puka out there? Like, obviously Cooper Kupp is going to get 20 targets.
No. And plus one thing too is they got three out of the 5 starting offensive linemen, and the one left tackle that's playing that came in, the third string that came in last week, he's sitting on the damn bench. So they're going to be better shape. They're going to be better shape, and they plug and play, man. Because especially like players like Jordan Whittington and Ty, I mean, you saw what Ty Johnson and Demarcus Robinson. Demarcus Robinson already has a good rapport with Stafford, so no, it's safe.
Yeah, I mean, I had Stafford before we went into that whole soliloquy. I wouldn't feel comfortable otherwise. I really wouldn't. I would want that offense. I would want that experience. And again, not to say that Justin Fields may not have one of these fantasy spike week performances. We'll have a new GIF of him sliding across the field. I wouldn't say Stafford would be my quarterback too.
Look at it this way. Did we when Puka wasn't even a thing yet?
Before Puka?
Before Puka, when it was just Stafford and good old Kupp. We've seen many, many good games.
Yeah.
Stafford will be fine. That offense runs through the wide receiver one, whoever it is, whether it's Kupp or Kupp's hurt, and then Puka slides in, it runs through that wide receiver. So as long as one of them's there, I'm not worried about Stafford at all. No. Personally, I'm going Stafford.
I'd say 275 yards at the least, 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Well, you know what?
And 6 rushing yards.
We're gonna
Maybe.
That's a little high.
Folks, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight to the Week 2 Fantasy Preview Show. We're going to be right back tomorrow night at 7:15-ish, 7:20-ish, whenever that last 425 game is finished and concluded. We will be right back here to go over what happened in the entire main slate of football games tomorrow. We will see what Stafford did tomorrow. Rhino,
yeah.
I hope you make it.
And if
I hope you make it with if the performance doesn't live up to the expectation, which I think it will. I honestly do. It may not be like last week's performance, but it should be a good performance. Dad, you don't need to take our advice. You're the dad. You're the fantasy dad and the fantasy goat. Jonesy, keep doing what you're doing, man. And I'll see you tomorrow.
If you guys can be the difference or make a difference in somebody else's life or your own life, and just be kind, man. We need more kindness in the world right now. So it takes zero effort. So just do that.
Cheers to
that. Have a blessed evening.
Cheers to that.
That's it.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right.